Hello from Texas. Is it Texas, Sartak, in this part of the universe in Kota? It is, right? So,
Bingo.
exactly. I'm pretty sure my geography is A plus, and hence
Yep.
the question and answer was asked and answered immediately. So here we are for round number 21 in season number 6 of Bwoah Racing League. USA Circuit of the Americas. I'd say this is one of the better American tracks in the recent history of racing and in American tracks. What do you say?
I'm trying to recall other American tracks, but I do know there are a few we'd love to see, these specific cars go around, but probably wouldn't be able to go around to begin with. Correct me if I'm wrong. Laguna Seca's in the US, or am I wrong?
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I love that track, but definitely not one for Formula One or even in sim racing for that matter. But yeah, Circuit of the Americas, you have to love Sector 1 up the hill into Turn 1. That's the best part of this track, hands down. And I absolutely love seeing the cars go through that in the first lap, in the formation lap, even. And yeah, throughout the race.
Yeah, and with us, 10 drivers out on track today, and we have a familiar face, let's just say a familiar car returning to the grid. Derp, after a long hiatus of the student life and whatnot, he's back to challenge possibly for a race win or two. With the drivers championship pretty much wrapped up, so it's all about bragging right who gets the higher finishing position in the drivers championship and also in the constructors championship. It is still hot for taking. Envy, who has been solely carrying Aston Martin, still leads the constructors championship in P1. Haas, McLaren are pretty close, and well, we don't see any Williams out there today, so they are gonna take a hit in terms of their chances of taking the constructors championship in this season, Sarthak.
A proper hit without a doubt job. We just got to talk to UK, of course, who is just rising as we speak, or perhaps just going back to bed. Regardless, Mr. Wex, probably after a terrible outing in the last couple of races, decided to sit this one out. But Derp, as eager as he was to return back on track, wanted to team up with Envy for this one, calling himself the reserve driver. Clearly, we couldn't allow that because the constructor side fight is in full swing, and the McLaren still have a shot there. Alfa Romeo still have a shot, and it's great to see both teams have both their drivers out on track.
Yeah, once again, Big Man Joe and Levi Tiger Pants, I think they've been putting on a show race after race, and countless times we have seen them drop down the grid and then make back up the positions if only they can just stay in the top 2 and 3 consistently without having an incident in the race. I think that 1-2 that they are looking for is going to come very, very soon. Last time out, in Japan, in Suzuka, McLaren came pretty close. Gauts and KDB almost snatching the top 2, but instead they had to settle for a 1-3 even after post-race incidents were resolved. So yeah, this time around, KDB still on an out lap. He will be starting his lap, and perhaps we can ride on board with our race winner from Suzuka and see how he does here in America. 2 different parts of the world, and let's see how he does.
Honestly, what a race that was back in Suzuka. I can keep, I'm pretty sure we all can keep talking about it again and again, but KDB, calm and composed. It's what you love to see from someone like KDB, 2-time champion in the Bwoah Racing League. As he heads in his Sector 1 through the SS, beautiful part of the track once again. An absolute treat. You can expect a move from the bravest of the brave out on track in Sector 1 at the very least. Sector 2 lights up yellow. I presume that's for slow moving car, making sure it doesn't impede drivers like KDB who are on fast laps.
Yeah, beautifully done into Sector 1 here, as the split just comes right after the at the start of the S section, and into Sector 2. It's pretty much long straight here, and the sector split ends right after that. Led it to braking zone before the Sector 3. Sector 3 is gonna be pretty much all the twisty bits but slower speed than Sector 1. So it is really a mixed kind of track. You have high speed Sector 1, you have a long straight in Sector 2, and then this Sector 2, this is what I like about this track. It's so wide and open and slow speed that you can pretty much go side by side the entire section, and then once you hit this triple right hand over here. This is gonna decide if you're gonna get in position or not, or if you're gonna go wide into the barriers, clip that curb, or run wide like KDB just did as his teammate sets the provisional fastest lap time of the session, 138. I don't believe that's the fastest just yet. KDB goes 35.1 for now.
Yeah, he was forced to lift off quite a bit in Sector 3 as he fumbled it on the exit. But at that final corner even, Davin, considering I have seen more recently in another league, a lot of drivers losing it out the final corner and getting thrown off by the curbs. It's not something you would want to see happen to any one of these drivers, for sure. But hopefully the 10 drivers out on track, they've got it in the bag.
Yeah, speaking of one of the 10 drivers, there we have a new driver out on track today. Please welcome Black Hawk, who is in the Red Bull Racing team today. And I don't think he's going for a fast lap just yet. He might just be on a slow cool down lap of his own, or preparing for his hot lap for that matter. Yeah, let's see how Red Bull does today. It's been a while since we've seen a Red Bull out on track here, Sarthak.
Surely enough, ironically, while Red Bull and Ferrari have dominated, pretty much 2022 in Formula One, we failed to see even barely a handful of races from the cars out on track. The drivers seemingly sat the races out, as Levi Tiger Pants definitely not sitting out one bit of this qualifying session. 1 minute 33.823, almost 2 seconds quicker than the closest rival, KDB. But yeah, another instance, Davin, of an absolute newbie we're getting to see first time out on track. No times that we know of. We don't know his race pace. We have absolutely no idea about it.
Yeah, that's the nice part of having a new driver every time in the league. You like to make guesses, where they fit into the grid. Are they just going to show up and then destroy everybody out on track? Are they going to be someone like Levi, who's consistently up there and challenging the likes of NB, the likes of Derp, KDB, UK and whatnot, in their league of their own? Or are they just going to just show up, have fun for a race or two before the season ends, and then they'll show up in the next season much stronger? So yeah, Blackhawk at the moment rounding up Sector 2. He comes into Sector 3 around here, and this is where the twisty bit comes once again. Like in real life, Sarthak, you do not want to overheat your tires too much heading into Sector 3. You could lose pretty much a good chunk of lap time, half a second even, if you have overheated tires around here. Sector 3 here is double right-hander, easy to lose the car in the middle there, and then across the last two corners, careful not to invalidate on the exit there, and onto the finish line. What is lap time going to be? Set say 37.4, 3.6 off the pace. So I'd say that's a pretty decent first lap considering his first lap in Bwoah Racing League. Perhaps a little bit more to squeeze out in the second and third runs.
Yeah, surely enough. And we still, as I said, I was going to say some heavyweights still haven't set lap times. And there you have it. The other Alfa Romeo of Big Man Joe, Daniel Joe, as he goes 1 minute 33.798 to be the fastest one out on track. Something we might have missed out, Davin. Derp is on the intermediate and he set that 1 minute 38.463. So I expect him to be much, much more quicker when he's on the softs.
Pretty sure 5 seconds could be found with a set of soft tires around here, for the matter of fact. And yeah, he's just going round and round, probably just gaining some lap times, lap numbers under his experience. As we say that, he just takes the cone out with no mercy into the pit and he will go, possibly time to switch on to the soft tires. Another driver who's yet to set a lap time, Signic. He has been having his ups and downs recently. Won the Singaporean Grand Prix and across the line here, P3 for him. He is just about a tenth and a half within Big Man Joe's lap time. So top 4 looking like they have a great shot at pole today.
Yeah, it's looking great even with the colors as well. Front row Alfa Romeo, Haas second row. If it stands, mind you, Envy and Derp both pretty competent drivers, known to qualify on the front row, yet to set a good enough lap time. Last time we saw Envy set a lap time, actually not set a lap time at all. In fact, half attempt a lap and then start from the back of the pack, didn't he?
Yep, and we've seen how he could cut to the traffic, or perhaps sometime drivers would like to hold him up. So that's where the real challenge lies for him, who has been pretty much driving out in front with possibly one or two drivers around him up in front. No contention, but as you drive in the midfield, that's where the challenge lies. How efficiently you can excuse me as I almost choked myself, how efficiently you can make the overtakes, cut through the traffic, and how quickly you can catch up to the leading pack. That's the challenge that Envy would face today, and possibly put himself in that situation intentionally, since he's won the championship.
Of course. And even the McLarens, for that matter, if the constructors' title is still in their grasp, they'd want to qualify higher up as well. KDP Gout's a bit on the back foot, seemingly, for now. But he is out on track for a fast lap. He's 7 tenths up on Sector 1. Gotten off to a great start, but again, something tells me he's taking it easy. He's taking it easy.
Well, easy does it, I guess, sometimes. And into the braking zone, onto the back straight. Pretty important to get a decent exit here. Otherwise, you'll get a compromised run down this very long back straight. Possibly the best overtaking opportunity into the hairpin at the end of this back straight. KDBSB watch upon him. Almost 6 tenths up, and this is putting him much closer to the top 4 as he runs out the triple right-hander and then into the second last corner. Careful not to invalidate. Does it so much better this time. No lifting off required. Last corner. How much can he gain? A little bit squiggly on the exit and across the line. This is going to be an 8/10 of an improvement. Puts him P5. Just under a 10 shy of Kubarabi's P4 lap time. And let's see Gouts, his teammate. Can he do any better if they won that 1-2 here today?
Yeah, while we were in the topic of the McLarens, the Red Bull driver for the day, Blackhawk, had his first ever spin in the Bwoah Racing League on the main straight. He was spun onto the grass, I presume, while taking it slow, or maybe he was going to start a fast lap. Regardless, he's on an out lap right now, and soon to come a fast lap from him. An Alpine and a Haas is incredibly close to each other in a qualifying session.
I wonder if Kubarabi got impeded over there by the Alpine of Streeter. I hope not. We might find out as they enter Sector 2 if the split time is somewhat down on the best. Kubarabi is still matching his personal best, only 19 thousandths up on his previous best attempt. And still a bit more to go. Sector 3, pretty much the slowest sector in some sense. You could make up a lot of time around here. Triple right, keep it tight, but at the same time don't let the car spin on last 2 corners. Send it to gain lap time, send it too much and you lose the lap altogether. Across the last corner, Kubarabi now almost seemed like he went off track there, but no, he's still within a 10th and a half. Jumps his teammate for the P3, still makes it a Haas 3 for second row lockout, but the Aston Martins, not the Aston Martins, what's that red team, Sartek? The Alfa Romeos, my bad. Too many A teams over here. Alfa Romeo still keep the 1-2 for now, and not for too long, as we have a familiar face returning to the top of the leaderboard. Dub sets in a 1:33.3, almost half a second quicker than everyone else out on track.
Yeah, we were talking about red teams, and Dub puts it right up there with the red team, Scuderia, Ferrari. But Big Man Joe, the other red car out on track, is on a fast lap. Had a bit of a squiggle with the car out of Sector 1 with the rear kicking out a bit, but still a 10th up on Sector 2. Might just be able to trump Dub for that provisional pole position. We got 5 minutes left to qualifying session, and we've still not seen a lap out of our champion this season, Envy. And Big Man Joe has a spin.
I was gonna say he needed to find 310 somewhere, but I think he'll be losing a lot more than that. So that will be the end of his second run. He still has enough time to go back to the pits and reset for another run. Unless he wants to save a set of swaps, which could be at play for a late game safety car.
I still think Streeter can pull off a lap, putting him in the top 5 as well. The Alfa Romeos and Haas is still one behind the other, and Kubarabi has seemingly trumped Sicknick, however. And yeah, I don't think we've seen the best out of Blackhawk just yet. What is Envy doing?
Envy is doing a hot lap, by the looks of it.
An unusual line to take off track on a hot lap, but It is Envy after all. I'd expect a last 2 minute. Once we hit the last 2 minutes of qualifying, we might just see a lap coming out of Envy. A good enough one to split Derp and Big Man Joe, maybe.
Ooh, I don't know, but someone who did split them is Signic, who goes about a tenth and a half quicker, now 3 tenths behind Derb's best lap time. Envy goes into the pits, so he's not setting lap time. I think he's just out for some confidence run.
Yeah, bunch of drivers head into the pits. Maybe we can stay on board Blackhawk as he's on a fast lap of his own. Streeter hasn't validated his lap time, and Sicknick just wrapped up a very good lap.
And suddenly from an Alfa Romeo 1-2, it has turned into an Alfa Romeo 3-4. How much more can they gain? Are they happy to start on the second row? Ooh, little bit of a squiggle there for Blackhawk into the S sections or the exit of the S sections and compromise his lap time. Levi Tiger Pants has rejoined, so he will have a little bit more left in this I guess. One last attempt if he needs to. And onto the back straight, Blackhawk goes, still 2 tenths down on his personal best.
Yeah, but it's a great time for him to join, surely enough. Come season 7 of Bwoah Racing League, he's probably going to have an edge over any newbie that comes thereafter. We've got 10 grid spots open for now. Of course, we do know when another season starts, things get quite crowded out on track. So hoping for a great season 7 to come. We still got 3 races this season as Derp gets disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. I don't know how far his lap time will be considered come the race. But, okay, it won't be considered at all. I wonder if that DSQ was fair. Regardless, it's still on Blackhawk as he comes across the final corner. Can he beat, at the very least, Gouts and Streeter, who's the closest? 2 seconds off the pace, but he gets a second closer to the rest of the pack.
Wonderful, wonderful. Brilliant improvement there. 2 seconds up on his, I'd say his first ever lap. And so on the second lap, that much of an improvement. I think he'll be finding confidence as the lap goes. And what do we see there? A stricken McLaren in the background. Is that Guts? No, that is KDB, who has lost it on the exit of turn 1 on his final out lap here. Does it look like wing damage to you, Sarthak?
Not as such. I think his wing is pretty fine and plates are intact, so I think it should be okay. But I had my eyes on Envy, who's on an outlap. Green car with green banded tires, and I'm thinking there's no way this guy's gonna set a lap time quicker than the rest of the pack on intermediates. Is he?
Well, that might be the limit. The intermediates might just be the limiting factor if he's out there to try some funny stuff. At the best, I foresee him getting a P9. Well, unless he wants to DSQ himself and challenge for that P10 and start further back the grid. But yeah, intermediates, they're probably 5 or 6 seconds off the pace in this condition. So yeah, Envy, good luck with that as we ride on board with the other half of Kubarabi, who has started his final lap into turn 1. Nice and cleanly done, and beautiful downhill shot by the camera there. Oof. In real life, I think I would have flown off into the air by the momentum alone. Into the S section, which is the end of sector 1, just about under a tenth up on his personal best. So there is a lot more lap time to find if he wants to go for the pole position, which is currently being held by his teammate, formerly by Derp. But yeah, let's not dive into the statistics too much just yet.
Yeah, a lot of things are happening. Blackhawk will not be able to set a new lap time. Sicknick has retired from the session. Can that lap time guarantee a pole position for him? Because the rest of the drivers are fast laps of his own. Big Man Joe seemingly 600ths of a second slower in Sector 1. Levi Tiger Pants on a fast lap just started 10th up on Sector 1. Purple Sector 2 for Kubarabi, and KDB 800ths of a second down on Sector 2.
Yeah, a tenth more to find for Kubarabi. Here we go, 3 more corners, and that's all you need to do. He will be the first one to cross the line of all the remaining runners out on track. Kubarabi keeps it clean into the last corner. How much more can he push on the entry, on the exit? Looks like he's done just enough. Lap time will say it all. Just a tenth. Keeps P4 for now, and next to cross the line will be KDB. Let's see how much can he improve. Pardon me, that's gonna be Gauts, the first of the two McLarens coming across the final corner here. 1.5 tenths down. Oh no, he spun on the exit, and that is his lap time gone. No
Yeah, we were
improvement for
talking.
Gauts.
Yeah, we were talking about that final corner, weren't we? And you can see Guts being the first of hopefully and the last of the drivers to get caught off by the final corner. But back to his teammate KDB, he'll have a sore sight to see of his teammate on the main straight, but he doesn't improve
Oh,
his lap time.
Levi
But
Tiger Pants goes pole position at the very end with a 133.2, and that would have beaten Dub's time anyway. So, wow. Flurry of fastest laps coming in at the end. What a show, what a show.
Wasn't just Levi Tiger Fans, it was Big Man Joe too. The two Alfa Romeos earlier on held on to the front row only to give it away to their rivals for a brief moment in qualifying session before taking it right back and locking out the front row.
Yeah, and the Haas pair locks out the second row. Well, we pretty much arrived to the same grid in the top 4 as we did 18 minutes ago. And Streeter splits the McLaren pair from the Haas pair down in P5. So Gauts and KDB, they have a lot of work to be done in the race, as they always do. Hopefully they have an alternate strategy in their arsenal to take it to the front runners here today. And we have some I'll say friendly support coming in the chat from none other than Mr. UK himself, saying that Gauts is doing his usual stuff. Yes, so I'd say better to get it out of the way now than to do it in the race, isn't it?
Without a doubt. If there's one race you don't want to fumble too much, considering it is Circuit of the Americas, and I expect the gaps to be enormous come lap number 5, as early as lap number 5. It's this one. And yeah, what's to say? We might just get a safety car or two, or probably not. I'm not even going to say anything anymore.
We could summon the safety car at any time, don't we, Sarthak? Suzuka has proven that. And yeah, we could summon it at any time to spice things up. So let's keep that in the back of our minds and not let anyone know what's our trick here. And let them enjoy the race as they are right now.
Surely. Gauts is equal to the Hulk of BRL, says UK. That's an interesting moniker to give someone like Gauts. But hopefully he can show that out on track come the race. Of course, as the race starts, he's in the thickness of the action, or will be in the thickness of the action in the midfield. Hopefully everyone keeps it clean into turn 1. Get their elbows out, of course, between the Alfa Romeos and the Haases who've locked out row 1 and row 2. You can only imagine a stellar start, but we will be heading into the formation lap soon after the drivers decide on what tires to pick at race start.
And seems like it's a mixture of hards and mediums. And yeah, split strategies coming in from the top 4. Levi going for the hards while Big Man Joe goes for the mediums, and likewise for Signig in P3 going for the hards while his teammates on the medium tires. So split strategies might just work out around here, especially if these teammates are expecting to be around the same pace or in each other's way. Safety car at a wrong time might just hinder their pit stops and lose them even more positions than gain anything. Looks like Levi Tiger Pants will be the only one in the top 4 to go for the hearts, and then it will be followed by Streeter, KDB and Gauts all the way back in P5 to 7. So yeah, a mixture of tie strats, tie temperatures, tie warm-up, everything is going to be crucial around here to get a good start on lap 1.
Let's not forget we're going to have some stellar last first challengers today. Of course, in the absence of RB Ferrero, it won't be the same, you could argue, but Envy and Dub starting at the back of the pack, both drivers were essentially battling for the title earlier this season, and we went Envy's way with the absence of Dub for most of the races this season. I'd like to think there's going to be some good wheel-to-wheel racing from the back all the way to the front.
You know what that reminds me? Envy and Dub being all the way at the back, it's their battle. 28 laps in a row last season in season number 5. 28 laps in a row they battled for the lead, and that was a spectacle to watch. I forgot who won, but I know it was one of them, and they kept us entertained lap after lap, overtakes after overtakes. dragging each other along, slowing each other around, all that good stuff for 28 continuous laps, even through pit stops, one doing the undercut, one doing the overcut, and somehow they still ended up together out on track. I wonder if they have that kind of a pace today to match each other till the very end of the race. 28 laps to go, and perhaps we'll see something like that from the top runners. Perhaps Envy and Derb could show us how to do it once again across another season.
Yeah, Derb's at an advantage with that tire choice for sure. But up in front, I was just thinking about it as you were going on about Envy and Derb. Big Man Joe has quite the task in his hands come race start. He can either make the jump on Levi Tiger Pants, take the lead of the race, considering he has tire advantage, even before turn one, or hold back, stay behind Levi Tiger Pants, and attempt to block off the horses as they try to come charging for their positions.
Suzuka all over again, Sarthak. This time roles reverse. Big Man Joe will be on the attacking side of this part. As we remember, towards the end of Suzuka, well, Levi Tiger Pants was behind Big Man Joe with soft tires, and things did not end well for the Alfa Romeos back then. Hopefully, they have a better start, more coordinated from the get-go, and play the team game, if anything.
Okay, as they line up on their grid boxes, it's the moment we absolutely adore, Dalvin. It's the race start.
And not off to a good start for Levi Tiger Pants, slightly behind his ideal grid line, which would invite Big Man Joe to even launch it further into turn 1. And 5 lights are gonna come on very, very shortly, as Derb will be the final driver to line up into his grid box. And there we go. We are waiting for the 5 lights. 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights. How long are they gonna go before they go fumbling the words already? And there you go, 5 lights are out, and away we go into turn 1. Looks like Levi Tiger Pants of all against all odds on those hard tires gets the best launch, and Big Man Joe sends himself into spin after colliding with Siknik into turn 1. Streeter finds himself in the advantageous position of P3 so far. Derb making up positions up into P6 already.
Yeah, almost 3 abreast into the S's in the midfield as Streeter, what a climb from him. Siknik got a stellar start, but Streeter all the way from down under up in a P3, a podium position. Forget the end of first lap. At the mere first sector, mind you, with Kuberabi left hanging right behind. The McLarens have gotten off to a stellar start as well, with KDB up staying P5. Derp up into P6, and down the inside goes the McLaren of KDB. Contact with the Haas, a bit of bullying, elbows out, but somehow Kuberabi holds out a P4. KDB being respectful and handing that position back, I think.
Oh, it's a frenzy down, heading down into the hairpin over here at the back straight. So everyone's just going side by side. Who's gonna come out ahead? Derb takes a wider line in an attempt to make an overtake. Oh, and KDB spins on the exit of the hairpin and loses his position. Advantage immediately goes to Derb, up into P6 already.
Yeah, the climb is on, the charge is on from some of these drivers as the rest of them are left picking up the pieces. Derb up into P6, Big Man Joe having tumbled down the orders back up into P5, and the charge is on. There the drivers with the freshest set of tires on track. Levi Tiger Pants somehow holding on to that race lead ahead of Siknik Streeter.
Yeah, and as lap 1 ends, Levi Tiger Pants finds himself still keeping the lead, and Siknik quickly closing in with the medium tires in an attempt to retain DRS. Streeter will have to get in closer if you would like to get a taste of the DRS come next lap. Kuberabi still within 2.5 seconds. Big Man Joe restarting, let's say resuming his climb back up into the lead. And a P5, not the position he wants to be. Derb right on his tail though, so this is gonna put him under some pressure here coming out of the S section. Derb seems to be pretty quick around here, and on the exit it's looking even closer. Can he make a move down into the hairpin? Looks like he's just a little far off. I don't think he'll go for a move. Envy though, he might just send one on the inside. Gets pretty close. Gets pretty close.
Had a little lockup, I'd imagine, or I might have just been switching through the drivers a bit too quickly. But he's got all the ERS in the tank, enough to trump Gouts come the next lap. A huge gap opening up though between Gouts and the rest of the field up ahead. He's got almost a 2-second gap to them as Envy begins to breathe down the gearbox of Gautz's McLaren. Down the inside, he will peak. Holds it almost level pegging with that McLaren and now has his nose ahead and will be ahead in that Aston Martin. Up in a P7 he goes.
Yeah, squeezes the throttle just enough to get into the gap, and Gauts, by no mistake of his own, is forced wide and has to yield the position. Envy has 2.5 second gap to catch back up to Dub, well, who is still on the back of Big Man Joe. Lap number 3, DRS is enabled and we'll get a first test of that on the back straight. So let's see if Siknik is interested to make a move for the lead. So does Kubarabi, who is also on the medium tires like his teammate, possibly lining up a move on Streeter.
Yeah, fastest laps traded between the Haas teammates across the line. And it does seem like Siknik is ready to pounce on that race lead and on Levi Tiger Pants for the race lead as the midfield edges closer and closer. Huge gap even there between Streeter and Siknik, just over a 2 seconds gap. But let's stay on board Siknik because he is now within 3/10 of the race leader and has everything in his favor to make this move happen.
Yeah, 4/10 on the exit, and Levi using a little bit of his battery on the exit to keep the gap. And well, Siknik is somewhat left without an arsenal, without any ammunition to attack. Finds himself pretty close. Big Man Joe and Dub are going side by side though, so that is some overtake done by Dub. A little bit sneaky there by Dub to launch it down the inside on the brakes and makes the move, rightfully so, up into P5 he will go.
Yeah, up to P5. Next up is Kubarabi and then Streeter in sights, mind you. Unlike the rest of the drivers up in front, with Siknik, Levi Tiger Pants being over 2 seconds away from this driver, but you can still insights to a certain extent. Sector 3 lights up yellow. I believe that is Black Hawk with a spin, and hopefully he can get back on track. But on the main straight, Dub will be edging closer to Kubarabi, and into turn 1, you can expect him to be breathing down the gearbox of the Haas.
Ooh, breathing down, it's precisely the word. It's almost touching the gearbox there, Sarthak, and had to lock up there just to prevent himself from heading into the heading further into his Kubarabi's gearbox. Yeah, into the S section. Look how close they are. P3, 4 and 5. Streeter is under immense pressure here. 2 drivers right behind him, and Big Man Joe might soon join the train once again. And on the exit of this S section, it looks like Big Man Joe looks like Dub is the closest one to anyone up in front of him. Might this be a double pass coming in from Dub as we ride on board with him from the back, and we can see the gaps are closing in on the exit and also winding up. Kubarabi is the one who's going for a move. He knows the danger that lies behind him, so he's on the inside, already on the attack. Side by side they are. No contest for this position, and up into P3 goes Kubarabi. And Dub, can he find himself some space and launch it on the inside like Envy did? No, not enough gap just yet.
I was thinking how Streeter made that happen.
Hold that thought.
That to happen so
hold that thought, Sarthak. While we're talking about Streeter, Dub attempted to launch it on the inside before the triple right-hander and found himself level pegging on the exit, but Streeter held his own here on the exit of this corner. Now we can see 3 drivers are all bunched up once again.
Oh, and that is a spin. Dub gets sent into a spin while being a bit too aggressive into the final corner. Big Man Joe was very close behind as well, and that was a disaster waiting to happen. But up in front, Siknik level pegging with the race leader Levi Tiger Pants, and into turn 1, he's made the move done, and he's gotten the move done as well. So Siknik up into the race lead, had a Levi Tiger Pants on the hards.
Yeah, the question is, how can Siknik pull away and create a gap for his own? Oh, Envy picks up a 3-second penalty. Very unlikely of Envy to do that. But yeah, we turn our attention back to the fight for the lead. Siknik, for the first time in this race, has taken the lead, but into sector 2, into the back straight. Can Levi Tiger Pants retake that lead, or will he want to stay back just a little further and save his hard tires for the long run? Can Siknik pull away? He is attempting to pull away. 6/10 is the gap, but Levi Tiger Pants is pulling it back thanks to the DRS assistance that he's getting down this back straight.
And yeah, you can see Dub coming back for his positions as you'd think. He's now within a second of Big Man Joe, now within half a second, mind you, and will soon be level pegging once again. This battle between two red cars out on track, I like to think will be quick and done, but looking at the ERS of both drivers, I think it's going to take a while before either one holds on to the other's position.
And there is some swapperoo going on down in the McLaren garage. KDB has been led through by Gouts heading into the triple rights here. So they will continue to hopefully regain some positions. Levi Tiger Pants has managed to stay within 1 second of Siknik up in front, but on the exit, oh, hold that thought. We have some moves going on once again. Dub once again launches down the inside of turn 1. Catches Big Man Joe sort of napping, and up into P5 he will go. So one lap later, Dub, can you not repeat the same mistake and possibly make a move on Streeter, who seems to be maintaining his composure on those hard tires, which are slowly but surely getting into their own pace.
Yeah, the charge is on. Streeter's next, and after that is QBW. But you can see the gaps now, Darwin, extending beyond 1.5 seconds or so between the top 4 at the very least. And then comes in the midfield, only Big Man Joe Derp and Streeter are within a second of each other, kind of like a DRS train.
Exactly, and Siknik has done well in the first sector to pull away. But now the question is, can he keep his tires alive for a few more laps, extend the gap a little bit, a bit more? Streeter has a moment here on the exit of that hairpin and goes side by side with Derp. Tries to find a way through. Derp once again launches it on the inside. Will be compromised on the exit. Can Streeter get a better exit on the inside line? He will get the inside into this triple right. Forces Derp onto the dirty runoff, and can Derp hold it off on the outside? He does, and into the last 2 corners. Derp will get the inside line. Streeter is hustling him through the corners. Derp has to go off track to take the position back. Streeter does not yield, and once again it's turning into a 3-man fight down here in P4. Big Man Joe now sees an opportunity. Beautiful helicopter shot of these 3 drivers almost into the pit lane exit there. Streeter has to go. Oh, who's gonna come out ahead? For now, it looks like it is Derp who is out in front. Big Man Joe has a little wobble on the exit, and that leaves Streeter to fight it off with Derp. Wow.
That was so beautiful. And opportunity, Big Man Joe, a bit of a fumble as well on the main straight. It almost seemed like the 2 cars steered away from the sides of Big Man Joe for him to capitalize on it, but couldn't quite get that done. Derp and Streeter, that battle has opened up a gap, unfortunately, between the two, and Derp is well on his way to close the gap to QBW.
Yeah, now Big Man Joe sees an opportunity to bounce on Streeter, considering how Derp has pulled over a second away in a sector alone. So this hard tire is definitely not working out just yet, but they would be in a couple of laps of time. And yeah, Big Man Joe wasting no more time down the outside, down the inside, and then he will take the racing line into the braking zone, comfortably back up into P5. Can he catch back up to Derp? 3/10 is the gap. Now Envy has joined the fight to take a position away, possibly from Streeter. Both are on the hard tires, so this might be a little bit more of a contest of who is brave under the brakes. Oh, Siknik! What has happened to our good friend Siknik here? Looks like he has spun on the exit of the triple rights, and down to P3 he goes, handing Levi Tiger Pants the lead of the race once again, and that promotes QBW up into P2, and immediately Siknik is under attack from Derp, who is making a good his way through the grid so far. Down the inside maybe, Siknik, can you defend that? No, I'm on the wrong driver.
Oh, Derp is gonna cautiously wait for Siknik to get back in form, I think. And at the end of Sector 1, he might just mount a challenge through the S's. He's gonna edge closer to the gearbox of that Haas, forcing him, pressuring him as much as he can, because out of Sector 1, he's gonna be vulnerable, and he knows it. Derp, he's within 2/10 of that white car, and soon enough, once he's gonna have the opportunity, which he can just see it, folks. He can just see it. He is closing in, and on the back straight, I expect a move from the driver in the red car.
Yeah, and much better exit for him too. DRS wide open, battery being deployed in the slipstream. He's gaining. Will he go on the inside, on the outside? Looks like he's going to go down the inside. Derp will take the inside line. Can he brake just in time for the corner? Does it well. and into the slower part of the track. Maintains his P3. Signic tries to come back though. Will he launch it down the inside like Dub did to him? No, Signic decides to think better of it for a lap or two. Oh, what has happened to Streeter this time around? Looks like he's spun on the exit of the slow section.
Similar spin to that of Signig, fumble on their own, and KDB gets the benefit of that. Up in a P7 he goes, but back to that mini DRS train we've got in the midfield between an Alfa Romeo, Haas, and a Ferrari.
Yeah, seems to be, this battle might go till the end. Will be decided by the pit stop selection, pit stop strategies over here, as the pit window will open just about now for any medium runners to go till the end on the hard tires. So the undercut may not be the best choice around here, but the hard tires will surely do the job to go till the end. Medium tires will be feeling a little bit second hand right now, which will play into the advantage of drivers such as Levi Tiger Pence, who's up in front, still keeping about 1.2 seconds of gap to Kibarabi, and then Envy and KDB, who have been steadily keeping their positions for now, will find it easier to make up the position later on. And Streeter has another problem to deal with, and he's gone for another spin.
And that's another McLaren benefiting from the fumble of the Alpine. Up in a P8 goes Gouts, and that DRS train seems non-existent at this point, apart from Envy, who's within half a second of Big Man Joe.
Yep, Signic's lost the DRS benefit to Dub so far, so that's proving to be an indicator that Dub might have preserved his tires a little longer or has just better pace at this point of time. So Signic and Big Man Joe will be contending for the race positions with Kibarabi as well. So P2 to P5, this will all be resolved probably by a pit stop or a fumble of someone, and well, Levi will have to hold it out on his own. We see some drivers running off pretty wide on the exit of the second last corner, picking up warnings. It's not gonna help them in the long run here. Only 10 laps concluded so far, Sarthak. 9 laps concluded. We are on the start of lap 10 and we have had so much action. I'd expect some pit stops coming in very, very soon.
Yeah, and you can see up in front, regardless of the mediums taking it's probably, feeling a bit aged right now, Kibarabi within half a second of Levi Tiger Pants is the closest he's gotten to race lead, to the race leader, in fact, this race. And I'm wondering if Levi is taking it easy on those hards. No reason for him to begin with, but maybe just.
Yeah, and he's comfortable with battery as well, so he's probably just taking it a little bit easier than expected. Possibly not keeping up, not going full pace because there's no one in front of him to match his pace. So maybe he's taking it a little bit easy for a lap or two before eventually deciding what to do with his tires. He is on the hards, like you said, so Kibarabi will find it difficult to follow in the middle sector and the first sector, considering his mediums are aging. 9 laps old they are. They should be feeling second hand right now, and into this slow-ish fast last sector, let's see if Levi could pull off a little bit more of a gap here, and he does. So that's an extra grip that Levi needs. But at the same time, Kibarabi is pushing hard. Will he go into the pits? He stays up for another lap.
Now it's 3 to tango, as Dub is within a second of the front runners. Sets the fastest lap time on those mediums. Unusually fast, I'll say, today, Dub, but might have just been the rest he took away from league racing for so long.
Yeah, a break is what you need sometimes, and a break might be something that everyone else needs, perhaps Envy. But if he could get a break from this DRS train, he will need to get past Big Man Joe and Signic first if he wants to get anywhere close to the top 3. And we have a yellow in sector 1, turn 1, that is Streeter getting past Gouts into turn 1. Unusual, considering the gap between the two was pretty big, so might have been a fumble by Gouts into turn 1. Streeter spotting the opportunity and trying to pull away and trying to regain the track position, and lost lap time to the front runners. Up in front.
Yeah, back to the midfield, Dalvin, as Envy closes in on Big Man Joe. It's been a while since he's been behind this Alfa Romeo. He's deploying every ounce of ERS he can. Won't peek down the inside, but will stay putting the pressure, adding that pressure onto the Alfa Romeo as the Alfa Romeo tries to edge closer to the Haas of Sicknick.
Yeah, it's still early days here, Sarthak. 11 laps in, and well, with no safety cars or VSCs to break things apart, it looks like it's gonna be an advantage for the hard runners if things go like this. But for how long? That's the question.
Yeah, saw a gap though between Sicknick and Dub, just almost 3-second gap.
Oh,
and yes, it has
a little bit of
edged into a
fakey
3-second
going
gap.
on there. Signic goes into the pit lane. Big Man Joe tried to follow him in, but no, Big Man Joe stays out. And that would be the first driver to make the call to go onto the hard tires to the second stint. So Signic will be the first one. We'll be having a pretty poor first lap due to the tire warm-up on these hards being atrocious. But he will have to make the lap time out on his first flying lap once he's back out, and unfortunate for him, he's gonna find himself within some traffic gouts right behind him, straight ahead of him. So this may not be the ideal condition for Sicknick if he wants to pull off the undercut on the drivers around him.
All eyes on the back straight, and as I said, even before the back straight, Dub goes into the rear of Kubarabi, right into the back of the Haas as he misses his braking point, and that will definitely go to the stewards, I'd imagine. But the race continues as Kubarabi tumbles down to P3.
Yeah, pretty sure that was not the way to do it. Big Man Joe now is not gotten past. Big Man Joe has been passed by NB, who himself runs a little bit wide into sector 3. And Big Man Joe trying to regain the position, but no, these all medium tires, as you can see on the inside tread of these tires, they are starting to fall off, and the grip is just going away from them. Look at how much NB is pulling away on the exits already, and this will only compound the longer these medium runners stay out. Will we see more drivers jumping in the pit lane? Looks like no. Yes might be the answer as well. Dub responds immediately to that undercut attempt from Sicknick, and into the pits goes Kubarabi as well. These two will have a word at the end. Big Man Joe into the pits as well. So yeah, it is a flurry of pit stops coming in for the medium runners, and this is the time the hard runners will have to push for the last 3 or 4 laps, squeeze every inch of life that they have left.
Yeah, Dub will be obviously the first one out of the pits, followed by Kubarabi and Big Man Joe.
Yeah, all eyes on Sicknick now, Sarthak, as he is the one who performed the undercut. Can he get past everyone around him? He is going around the outside of his teammate, and will they let the team play come true? Yes is the answer. Sicknick performs the undercut of dreams, and up into P6 he goes. So that might be the net race lead if he can keep it like this for now. Kubarabi will have to contend with some cold tires now.
Yeah, the battle is on. You'd think Gouts would capitalize on this moment. 12 laps on the Haas. He should be able to attack 1 or 2 of these cars and get a position or 2, but seemingly it's left hanging while his teammate is up in a P3 already with the pit stops that ensued. But all eyes on Streeter, who's within 3/10 of Dub.
Yeah, I wonder if Duff picked up some damage there, or he's just coming out of the pit lane. Yeah, he is coming out of the pit lane, and he's on cold hard tires, which is an indication Streeter would need to go up into P3, P4 for now. Dub fights back, possibly having some warm tires on the exit here. Can he keep it clean on the inside once again? Yes, he does. How much grip does he have? Not much, but just enough to squeeze himself through. Streeter tries to poke his nose through on the inside. Dub once again around the outside, pulls a move on another driver, and up into P4 he will go. Now this is looking more like a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant racing from these lot. On the main straight is where you can expect Streeter to come right back, or perhaps not. That gap is edging closer to a second. As we see it, you can see Sicknick as well getting eager to get in on that action between Streeter and Dub. He might just be able to, but that time penalty is gonna not go his way come the end of this race. We're hitting the halfway mark of the race itself, folks, as Levi Tiger Pants leads this race out of NV, KDB, Dub, and Streeter in the top 5 with Sicknick. Opportunity for him as he closes in on the gearbox of the Alpine, almost going into the rear of him, but on the back straight, should be poised to make the move he'd want to.
So much more grip for Sicknick there on the fresh hard tires, almost lifting off to avoid the rear of Streeter, but now yeah, into the back straight. this will be the opportunity that Siknik has to take. No more delaying, otherwise Dub is gonna get out of his sights, and Siknik will not be using his battery that much. Now he uses it a little bit, and on the inside makes a move nicely and cleanly. Streeter not fighting it too hard, and ooh, almost touching the rear, but nothing done there. Kubarabi finds himself in the advantageous position as well to overtake Streeter. Will Big Man Joe try to launch it down the inside? Yes, it does. Puts Kubarabi a little bit offline and muscles his way through up into P7. Big Man Joe spotting the opportunity. Now P6 is up there for him.
Yeah, he knows if it's opportunity, it's now, surely enough, with so many cars within a second of each other. As Streeter picks up the 3-second time penalty, Big Man Joe has gotta have a smirk on his face because he's on the gearbox of the Alpine. ERS, DRS, advantage there for him. Will weave to the left-hand side of the track on the main straight and into turn 1. Level pegging goes Alpine and Alfa Romeo, but it'll be the Alfa Romeo's nose up in front, and up in a P6 goes Big Man Joe.
Yeah, beautiful shot we got there from the nose of Kubarabi now, who tries to get past Streeter as well. So it's lap after lap. They find themselves in a good position to overtake, but this undercut onto this hard tire is not really working out, as Streeter is being a thorn in their side, and Dub and Siknik and Big Man Joe might have made their way. Now it's Kubarabi's turn if he could make it through on this back straight as well.
Yeah, surely enough, the more time he spends behind the Alpine, the more Kubarabi is losing out, and that pit stop made no difference. Mind you, he was the driver who Dub went into the back of, and now he's down in P8. This driver was almost edging closer to Levi Tiger Pants, but now will dive around Streeter, as you see, even before the turn, the hairpin, and will be up in a P7. It's damage limitation at this point, but he's got to make a pass or two more to get back and closer to his teammate.
Yeah, and things might have just settled down for a second or so. Oh, speaking of things settling down, someone who has not settled down is Envy, who picks up another 3-second penalty. And while he's inherited the lead of the race for a moment here, Levi Tiger Pants decided to go for the undercut onto the medium tires, which will comfortably go till the end. And as we watch him closely, he's gonna come up pretty close to the train of hard runners who are just coming around the corner. Siknik will be the second driver. Dub gets past him, and Siknik, here he comes into turn 1. Will this be close enough for Siknik to make a move? Not enough, but with hot tires, warm tires on Siknik, this might just be an opportunity Siknik will have to take in order to gain a track position right now.
Yeah, you can see him already closing in on the Alfa Romeo through the S's. But come the back straight, I'd imagine, is where he'll have his one opportunity before there's heat in Levi Tiger Pants tires, and he'll be well on his way to make passes up ahead. He is on the freshest set and will have the advantage there. So now is Siknik's opportunity. Can he make it count? But it's advantage Levi Tiger Pants, as he's got all the ERS. Sector 2 lights up yellow.
Yeah, there is Streeter on the exit of that back, on the entry into the back straight, and spinning on the exit. So, well, he's not having a good day, isn't he? Lap after lap, he's been finding himself struggling on those old hard tires. Perhaps time for him to get rid of those and go on to set of mediums. And speaking of the mediums, Levi Tiger Pants seems to have fired up those mediums pretty quickly, as they do in this game, and up into P4 he is, still retaining his P4, and now Envy responds to that undercut attempt as well, and he will go into the pits. KDB jumps in as well, and this will be a comeback drive for the medium runners. This is going to be hell of a 10 laps to watch.
Yeah, surely enough, and you can already see a couple of drivers heading into the pits. That is KDB, Streeter, and Envy, the last of the hard runners, into the pits and into turn 1. Envy gets awfully close to Kubarabi right out the pits. And they'll stay within a second of each other through the S's.
And it is a ginormous task for Envy here. 8 seconds is his gap to the race leader Dub, which is not impossible considering Envy has the softer tires, the medium tires versus Dub's hard tires on. But getting through this traffic of hard runners is going to be his first challenge, perhaps a challenge he wanted in the first place. and now he will have a challenge that he wants. Levi Tiger Pants, the first of the medium runners, now finding himself edging closer and closer to Derp, who seems to be, well, pretty comfortable out in the lead, but for how long more? Levi Tiger Pants, having the medium tires, is catching sector by sector, looks like it.
Yeah, and we're on lap number 17, folks, of the Bwoah Racing League Season 6. United States GP around the Circuit of the Americas as the gaps extend well beyond the second closest gap between two drivers, of course, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screens, QRubby and Big Man Joe. A Haas and Alfa Romeo, P5 and P4 respectively, and an Aston Martin getting eager and closer by the corner.
Yeah, it truly is going to be a battle of the strategists, looks like it for now. Levi Tiger Pants proving he is the fastest driver out on track right now. Closed up half a second within that one lap alone in sector 3, so these medium tires are definitely working out for him.
This is usually the part of the race we get a huge reset with someone fumbling, but maybe the fumblers have stayed out of this race, or maybe everyone's keeping it clean. Let's hope it's a nice clean race till the end. A proper pat on the back for Blackhawk. He is sticking it out there. Hard tires within 10 seconds of Gouts. While Streeter and Gouts and Blackhawk have extended their gaps well beyond, race pace essentially. They will be looking to finish because every position avoids points in the Bwoah Racing League. And in the midfield, it is getting heated between the Aston Martin, Haas and Alfa Romeo within half a second of each other. ERS in full deployment from the Aston Martin as he weaves to the right-hand side of the track, goes level pegging with the Haas on the back straight, and well on his way up in a P5 goes Envy.
Yeah, QRubby still tries to defend the inside, but not enough gap for him to slot in through. Envy with those medium tires getting more grip, goes around the outside and finally taking the position away. 3/10 between the gap between him and Big Man Joe right now, but crucially, as we have seen, Envy has a 6-second penalty on his name, so Big Man Joe, all he has to do is let Envy try the right time and follow him through for the rest of the race, stay within 6, and there you go, he'll gain back a position. Speaking of gaining positions, Levi Tiger Pants has not caught up as much as he would have wanted in the last lap, but 3/10 closer this time around.
Yeah, and here comes Aston Martin on Alfa Romeo. Down the inside goes Envy into turn 1. He doesn't send it wide, he keeps it on track, and Big Man Joe won't have the advantages he needs to make that pass. That's switcheroo he'd want to. He's going to stay as close as possible through the S's, but the tire advantage going Envy's way. That's a gap being opened up well before the back straight.
Yeah, if we can close up we can close up 5/10 in this corner alone. Looks like he might have almost done it to get into DRS of Sicknick and propel himself further into the top 3. A win of the race is not too far off.
But time penalties will count for quite a bit come the race end. But Derp, our race leader, our current race leader, has been holding it out pretty well, with Levi Tiger Pants only having to close in, or only been able to close in about 2/10 in the last lap so far. He is at a tire advantage. He's got about 9 laps left. Maybe, just maybe, he can get within a second come the last couple of laps. But the tires would have aged by then, so it's anyone's guess if there's really a contention for the race lead right now.
It might be, it might just be, as Levi seems to be getting into groove with his medium tires here, now closing up another half a second in this lap, and clocking in consistent lap times within 2/10 of his previous best as well, so that is a good sign that he has some pace and some tire life left to go till the end. The question is, like you said, Sartak, how long can he keep it up? If he makes the pass right now, can he pull away before Derp catches him back towards the end of the race, where these tires might be performing at an equal level? Envy now on the back of Sicknick already. DRS coming soon on the back straight. This might be an easy pass once again.
Yeah, while we speculate on Levi's feelings about his own tires, Envy is sure enough feeling it with his set of mediums. He is now within 2/10 of Sicknick, as Sicknick tries his best to weave as much as possible, distracting Envy, but if anything, Envy might have just fumbled the bag. A metaphor I'm not too a fan of using, but regardless, goes into the rear of Sicknick, much similar to how Derp went into the rear of Cuba Rabi. Looks like the horses are proving to be unlucky around the circuit of the Americas.
Not in their home race, Satak. They're not finding it 1 inch of comfort here today. But still, 8.5 laps to go. Anything can happen. It could all change around. And Envy now finds himself in P3 with 6-second penalties and possibly a further 5 seconds in post race with that incident. So he will have a lot of work to do if he wants to get anywhere close to winning the race. Well, let alone even a P3 at the very best.
Yeah, Blackhawk gets sent into the spin. That was this yellow in sector 2. With 7 laps left, back to your point, Davin. I mean, not just Envy, even Derp is to an extent under review, isn't he? After that, after the incident of going into the rear of Cuba Rabi. But here comes Sicknick on Big Man Joe, seemingly, or in fact, Big Man Joe makes the pass on Sicknick. We might have just missed that. And yeah, Sicknick is trying his best to close in as sector 3 lights up yellow. That might have just been Blackhawk once again. The back markers not having the best of times out on track. With 7 laps left, it's anyone's guess what will unravel in this race.
Yeah, but now the Haas find themselves fighting each other instead of moving forward. Will this be some team orders being played here for Kubarabi and Sicknick? I wonder if we'll see a Swaparoo coming in at the end of the back straight. Big Man Joe held his line, like you said, into turn 1, preventing Sicknick from making the pass. Big Man Joe still is within 6 seconds of Envy, 2.6 for now. The gap seems to be extending lap after lap, but can he keep up the momentum? That's definitely a question for Big Man Joe to answer himself, as we have Sicknick once again finding himself pretty close to the rear end of Big Man Joe, but well, his effort seems to be a little futile from that distance, so he might want to calm things down.
Yeah, still we've got ourselves a DRS train in the midfield, and that's what you like to see. 2 horses and an Alfa Romeo might just be battling it out come the last couple of laps, or maybe even the next lap. It's all about keeping a clean lap after lap. And too many uses of the word lap, perhaps, in my sentences. Regardless, Sicknick on Big Man Joe now within half a second. He's deploying all his ERS, everything he has.
Down the inside it goes.
Move. And down the inside it is. And contact almost as Alfa Romeo takes the wider line, holds on to his position, and Big Man Joe will remain P4.
Brave move there by Big Man Joe to take the outside line and just send it around the outside of the apex. Sicknick forced to slow down in order not to hit into any driver. And Big Man Joe once again showing his racecraft there, clean racecraft, and keeps the P4 to himself for now. But that has cost them over a second of a gap to Envy in this time. And well, while Envy seems to be maintaining position, Levi Tiger Pants on the other hand still within 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds of Derp, not closing in any much closer than he would want to. We'd expect to have seen an overtake by now, but the tires are starting to level out as the laps goes on.
Yeah, Blackhawk receives his first time penalty in the Bwoah Racing League, 3 seconds to his name as he continues to run P10 in this race. I am surprised how Levi Tiger Pants' gap hasn't really closed in. It goes to show Derb's pace is incredible even on the hards, and has held on to that race lead impressively.
And it's also a matter of tires overheating around here, which is a significant portion of your lap time. And at this point, I feel like the hards might have just given him the edge over Levi. And well, Derp seems to be maintaining his pace right through these crucial parts of the race. It's only going to get stronger towards the end, and he has done the hard part of the job to keep the gap at the early parts of his stint. And now Levi will have to do the tough part of keeping up and catching up towards the end. 3 second penalty for Derp might just spoil things for him. A victory on return, and with a looming investigation for the earlier incident. So Levi might just be playing his cards over here, playing it smart, knowing that he does not have to take any risk. P2 at best, he will take that home, and considering his past races, he will take this home. A good P2 will be a good morale booster for him. Back to the action for P4. Levi's teammate Big Man Joe now under attack from 2 horses. Big Man Joe running out of battery here. and that's not gonna help him. Siknik with DRS, Kuberabi with DRS as well. No one seems to be interested to make a move just yet. 5 laps to go, and I think it's high time they start thinking of the end of the race.
Yeah, if anything, now's the time to double down on recharging your batteries. Come the last couple of laps, you want to have the most in the tank. I think that is Siknik's plan at the very least. I've seen him, just be ensuring he's recharging his battery. Same with Kuberabi by the looks of it. So clearly, Big Banjo is going to be threatened for position come the last couple of laps. They're all on more or less the same set of tires. As Sector 3 lights up yellow. That is a McLaren who has spun. I'm not too sure which car that is, but back onto the main straight.
Yeah, so not having a good time on the double rights, triple rights over there. So as we have seen, even in qualifying, it's pretty hard to keep the car pointed straight and going in the right direction. And KDB has lost it twice there in a couple of laps and not exactly doing any favor to his tires. Back to the battle for P4. Big Man Joe holding his ground as he have done time after time, race after race. Here in P4, now having to contend with a pair of horses right behind him. Can he hold his ground? 6 seconds is his gap to NB right now. So P3 is looking far away from him right now, and all he has to do is make sure he brings home this P4. 2 and 4 will be a pretty good result, I'm assuming, for the Alfa Romeos here today.
Yeah, but they'd want 1-2, I'm pretty sure. But damage limitation with how the race ensued, even at the start with Big Manjo spinning out into turn 1. He tried his best to come back as well. Same with Levi Tiger Pants. He's had he probably the only disadvantage this race he's had is might just have been that bad stint on the mediums he's having right now, not being able to close that gap to Dub. But then again, the race ain't over. There's still 4 laps, and if we've learned anything this season of more than any other season, is that it's not over until the last lap. You're on lap number 25, folks, and the closest drivers between each other are the horses who are hungry for Big Man Joe's position.
Well, in my book, Sarthak, it's not over till the stewards have a look at incidents. Oh. So let's not, let's have the first ending of the race, which will be the official checkered flag at the end of lap 28 to decide who's where on each part of the track. Levi Tiger Pants, as we were speaking about him, was within 1.6 seconds of Derp, but seems to be losing the lap time now here in Sector 1. So might just be the hard tires are starting to come into their own, leveling out on pace. The mediums dropping off a bit, and he's still within 2 seconds, running out of battery, so that's not gonna help him either way. Derp still has a little bit of battery left, just over 10% more, but for how much longer this is going to come down to the wire. If Levi has any more pace, he needs to squeeze that out right now.
Yeah, surely enough. On this particular lap, you can see the ERS, of course, being built up. Unusual by Siknik. He deployed quite a bit of his, putting him at an advantage in the versus Big Man Joe. I'd imagine he'll be forced to hand a position to Kuberabi, who will have the advantage come the last 2 laps. And I really hope a team game is played from the horses to capitalize on this moment. But yeah, the race continues with Big Man Joe staying in P4. Bit of a fumble from him. Opens up the opportunity for Siknik, and through he goes. Up in a P4. Would you look at that? Who would have thought a tiny fumble like that would hand the position to the likes of the horse driver of Siknik? With Kuberabi now within half a second, he'll be eyeing that position even more. He's got the advantage of ERS. This is poised in their way. The horses have their moment in the sunlight for once.
And Siknik is going defensive already into turn 1, but not for long. Big Man Joe just whips a little bit, locks up though into turn 1, and that is the invitation Kuberabi will need to take that P5 away from Big Man Joe. And suddenly, in a sector and a half space, Big Man Joe has fumbled twice and lost both position to the both horses. So it's time for Siknik and Kuberabi to pull away if they could, and possibly go for that 4-5 finish, even a 3-4 finish if they can pull up to NB within 2.5 laps here. Speaking of gaps here, Levi Tiger Pants also still emptied his battery, but not getting close enough.
Yeah, if anything, Siknik could let Kuberabi go. But Kuberabi needs to do a bit of catching up to Siknik before that happens. And maybe, just maybe, the impossible can happen. Kuberabi closing that gap to Envy and picking off a podium. We are asking for a miracle here for Kuberabi, but seemingly so. Big man Joe's coming back for his position. He's well within half a second of that horse.
Yeah, and with lap 26 almost concluded, that means no more safety cars for this race. That will be a sprint till the end. Well, no, oh no, 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 oh no, I spoke too soon. That is Big Man Joe spinning on the exit of that before the triple rights and losing his entire front wing. Oh my, in a lap, just within a lap, Big Man Joe's race has gone from good to gone. And into the pits he will go, I'm assuming, to get a front wing change and also a set of fresh soft tires, perhaps to set a fastest lap of the race. That might be a consolation to take home for today.
Yeah, surely enough, nab a point in the process for the constructors fight, mind you. Levi Tiger Pants finishing on the podium with that looming incidents. Clearly a decision yet to be announced for Derp. It might just be damage limitation on Big Man Joe's side. But yeah, brilliant stuff by Levi Tiger Pants, who's done a good enough job to run P2. We're on the penultimate lap, folks, of the Bwoah Racing League Season 6 United States GP around the circuit of the Americas. We've seen all sorts of moves being made across the field, from the front all the way to the back. And Derp continues to lead this race.
We might have lost Sarthak there for a moment, but yeah, Derp continues to lead the race.
Let Kuberabi up in front.
There you go, Sarthak, you're back. Okay, so yeah, we were just saying Derp has managed to keep his composure cool and collected. All the C words that he can find for Derp so far has finally, is it finally broken? Levi Tiger Pants is suddenly within touching distance of catching Derp into turn 1. 1.2 second is the gap. Come the last few corners here, can Levi Tiger Pants make it close enough to get into the DRS of Derp? And then when he does, can he make the overtake with limited battery and limited tire life remaining?
Yeah, he needs qualifying gaps, Dalvin, if anything, to pull this miracle off. You can already see he's losing 3/10 or so through the S's, and he's already down by half a second. So clearly on track at the very least. We might just not see a move.
That's a very, very big slide on the exit of the SS and loses almost 2/10 there, and I might dare to say he might have lost his chance of winning this out on track today.
Yeah, surely enough. But what a race! As always, I don't think we can appreciate as much as we can. There's no limit to appreciating races in the Bwoah Racing League. And into Season 7, one is gonna think it's only gonna get better and better. It was an absolute treat to see the return of Derp, to see Blackhawk join the Bwoah Racing League for his first race as well. You can see the gaps extended well beyond any kind of battles on this final lap. The two closest drivers, of course, might just see a stellar finish from the horses as Sector 3 lights up yellow. Slow-moving cars, I'd imagine. But across the final corner, after a stellar race and a looming decision to the stewards, Derp will cross the line, or perhaps might just not, but he will cross the line to win the United States GP of Bwoah Racing League Season 6. Levi Tiger Pants will cross the line for P2. Kuberabi racks up a 3-second penalty at the tail end of it, but Envy holds on at P3 despite the time penalty.
Brilliant driving by Derp there. Pretty much last to first, and Envy, although we didn't have a show like him and Derp did in the last season, but I think that was a strong drive to get all the way up to P3 despite an incident or two. I'll put an asterisk over that. Kuberabi and Siknik finishing in a strong P4 and 5. A good haul of points for the Constructors Championship, and especially ONV, who is solo carrying Aston Martin right now. Alfa Romeo though, not a good day. Not a good day for Big Man Joe. Oh, steals a fastest lap though, so that will definitely be the extra point, the consolation point that might be useful come the end of race 24 in Brazilian Grand Prix in 3 weeks time. So yeah, Big Man Joe doing his part for the team, taking the pain, dropping down the grid due to an incident of his own. grabs the fastest lap. For now, Gouts, who had the fastest lap in the previous lap, will come across the line to finish in P9 and stay within the lead lap.
What a race, Davin. And driver of the day goes to Duff, of course, after his incredible climb from the back of the pack. Of course, a lot of things goes to the stewards, so I'd imagine that race win, whether or not that will stay, is one of question, and we'll find out, folks. Make sure you follow us on our socials to keep yourself updated on the race result, of course. But on the top step of the podium is Derp, after all, with Levi Tiger Pants joining him in P2, and of course Envy. Not a rare sight to see him on the podium, but probably a rare sight to see him on the third step.
Well, I'm guessing if he has wrapped up the championship, third is as good as P1 in his books, and he will continue to rack up those points. The Constructors' Championship is not over just yet, so Envy can't just be slacking at the moment. So he will have to pull his weight for the last 3 races to come. Next week, we head to Mexico. Mexico City, and it will be a great race once again over there. Long straight, even longer than what we have around here, and then twisty sector 2 and 3. That's gonna be another challenging track for the drivers to tackle. Till then, see you next week.
I will see you for the next race, folks. Cheers, David.
Cheers, Sarthak. Bye bye.